Hi neighbor, it's great to have you back for 21 Days to Fred. I'm Walt Keller. Well, it was a little rainy outside. Turns out it's a perfect day to come inside and play with our imagination. That's certainly what Fred Rogers did in his landmark show, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. If you remember, it was the trolley that he used as a vehicle to transport us into the neighborhood of make-believe. Suddenly, we were in this magical land of castles and trees with all these unusual characters. Of course, King Friday the 13th and Queen Saturday and their Prince Wednesday and so many other wonderful, interesting, imaginary characters. As a child growing up in my neighborhood, which was northwest Denver, I found pretty early on that the scenes of neighborhoods and houses and people that I was seeing on television just didn't match up with what I saw as I walked around the neighborhood. It was really a rough, run-down kind of place. And so it's no wonder that when I came home from college, I wanted to buy one of the old houses and fix it up. And so I started looking, and I found this place at 37th and Bryant in the Potter Highlands Historic District. It was a 23-unit condemned apartment building, all boarded up, in very rough shape. And when you went inside, you found that it was even worse. The place had been left to freeze, and all the pipes had broken. And there were pipes everywhere and tabletop-size holes in the ceilings where the water came down and the plaster plummeted to the floor. All 8 fireplace mantles of the house had been pried off the walls and carted away, which was a real shame because the place had been built by a lumber baron, a guy by the name of John Mowat back in 1890, a Scottish immigrant who came here and amassed a fortune in lumber. And this was his crown jewel of a house. In fact, he even had a ballroom up on the 3rd floor. And after quite a bit of research and quite a bit of work, we were able to restore that ballroom to the 3rd floor, where at one time there were 5 apartments. On the 2nd floor, those were the original bedrooms. And that's where we installed our 5 bed and breakfast rooms, all with private bath and jacuzzi tubs. The 1st floor had big open parlors with 10-foot high pocket doors, and at one point we even turned one room into a classic Hollywood library. I say classic Hollywood because it had these bookcases, which weren't really bookcases but were doors, and they would open up and different things would happen. And in fact, one of them opened up into a casino table, like a speakeasy. We were able to win a national award, the Great American Home Award, for all the work that we had done. Along the way, we had to really use our imagination to envision what the mansion could be like, what it might have been like in the 1890s, and what could it be like to entertain the public there in modern times. After all, there was this fabulous ballroom up on the 3rd floor. A ballroom that in the 1890s used to host events, and we turned it into something amazing by vaulting up the ceiling to a 20-foot peaked pyramid with a giant chandelier and hard rock maple dance floor all throughout. The question is, could this place also be a theater? We'd hosted a couple theatrical events, and it turns out the whole house was the perfect setting for a murder mystery dinner. In fact, we were the first place in Colorado to host them open to the public, ticketed, and did so for many, many years. We had all sorts of fun shows like Icing Bridezilla, where we used this wedding cake as one of the props. And we introduced the idea of the Bike Squad mysteries, where we had a bike cop come and investigate. That was always great fun, being Rusty Schwinn from the Denver Bike Squad. We were very lucky because we had a fabulous cast of so many talented people We had dancers and singers and musicians and magicians. We did Icing Bridezilla, and one of our other shows was called Campaigns Are Murder, with a really fun political satire theme. It wasn't too long before we came up with another idea, and that was, could we incorporate Play Casino into a murder mystery? And we did, with Casino Night Heist, a great trip to a fabulous mansion with casino games where everybody gets $1,000 in gaming chips to go around and play poker, blackjack, roulette. That's where the actors are set up as the dealers. And they're, of course, in crazy costumes. And before you know it, the whole group is swept upstairs to the third-floor ballroom where dinner is served, the murder occurs, and you solve the crime with the clues, the police, and the people at your table. We even did a Hollywood-themed show called Shooting Double Down Donnie, 1920s gangster flapper theme. It was so popular we had to do a sequel to it, Double Down Donnie 2, the sequel to Murder. America's Got Murder, which was a talent show theme with all sorts of fun singing and dancing routines and those notorious judges that everybody loves to hate. We had a magic-themed murder mystery called The Vanishing Act, where we featured some of our best magicians and their best tricks. And even an Austin Powers-themed show called Let's Kill the Whistleblower, where we had Matt Vandermeulen play several voices of Mike Myers fame. In all, it was a terrific way to exercise our imagination and make it something entertaining for the public. Acting involves entering an imaginary world, and maybe that's why we decided to move to Los Angeles, the city of imagination. In day 17, Epic Fred, I was riding around the Sky Park in one of those kids' trains, and it must have inspired Snoop Dogg Lookalike on Facebook to say, "Can I drive? LOL, awesome," he says. Brian J. Ames, an actor friend, says, "Love it, go Walt, go." On YouTube, Pure Theoretical, reacting to our Kindest Star episode, said, "How fun. I have to say that Hanks does not resemble Rogers. If they had known about you, you could have had the part." If you have any comments you'd like to leave, we'd love to hear from you right here on YouTube. Just leave a comment and subscribe. We'd love to have you join us. I've got to give a lot of credit to Fred Rogers for opening up my mind as a child and taking me to his neighborhood of make-believe. How do you stretch your imagination? And give me an example of what you've done recently that you're really proud of. I'd love to hear about it. In the meantime, join us next time for 21 Days to Fred.